Okay, I've never tried this before, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I'm exploring the Commons API, Commons Compress API in Clojure. I'm going to start by creating a new, just empty project. I actually have a directory named Commons Test already, so Commons Test 2. This is going to create a skeleton project for me using Leiningen, which is the Clojure, it's Clojure's equivalent for Ant or Maven or whatnot, and it's kind of slow, so that's why that takes forever. So next thing I'm going to do is open up this project.cloj file and add the dependency I need for Commons Compress, which is org.apache.commons/commons compress 1.9. So this will pull the compress API from Maven, same as any Java project, because it is just a Java library. And again, Leiningen is super slow. There it goes. So we pulled it, and now I'm going to use something called Cider. I'm running an Emacs right now. Cider is a nifty IDE sort of thing for Clojure that runs within Emacs. What this is going to do when it finally loads is drop me into a REPL, a read eval print loop, so that I can do all kinds of stuff interactively. Any day now. Yeah, Leiningen is super slow. Clojure in general has really poor startup times. Once it's running, it runs super fast. It's same as JVM speed for anything else, but load time is really slow. So I'm going to need a couple of things. Clojure.java.io is just a wrapper around the normal Java I/O stuff to give me access to things. Then org.apache.commons compress. Then I have to archivers. I have to import. I'm importing some stuff just to make life faster for me. So you can see I get I get tab completion and whatnot in Cider as well. Then the other thing I need is java.util, I think .zip.gzip input stream. Okay, so first thing I need, so looking at the documentation, I see that the compress API works with file input streams. It doesn't open files directly. So target tar input stream. So let's just write a function to take a file name and give me an input stream for it. So I take this, so define function, name is get tar input stream, and it takes a file name. So I'm going to take that file name. This is called, actually let's do it the other way. So this will look mostly like, or sort of like what you're used to in Java. So I take the file name, I call this io/input stream function to get an input stream for it, create a new gzip input stream that wraps it, and create a new tar archive input stream that wraps that. The other way I could have done this is there's something called the threading macro to make this a little bit easier to read if you know what it's doing. So this does the same thing. It just says flat out take this file name and pass it to io/input stream and take the output of that, pass it to gzip input stream, take the output of that, pass it to tar archive input stream. And you can also see I can redefine any function I want at any time here. So let's just get tar input stream /blah.tar.gz. So you can see that I created a reference to, or I call this get tar input stream, it returns a reference, and I stuck it in a variable named ASDF, And I can inspect it and look, it's a tar archive input stream. So we're good. Next, let's print out the print tar names. So given this input stream, let's print out the names in it. We're going to loop over all the names in it. So the method that of tar archive input stream that gives you the next entry is just called getNextTar entry. So we call it exactly like that. So this, in Java, this would look like stream.getNextTar entry. In Clojure, function names or method names always come first. So we do it like that. So if the entry we get back is not null, print line entry. So there we go. So we can see, so how this works is the looping construct in Clojure is defined in terms of a recursive call, typically. There are other ways to do loops, but this is the primary one. So it's defined, it's set up to look like a function in the first place with its own set of bindings, just like a normal function. So we have the variable name that's getting bound and the initial value that it's getting bound to here, which is obviously the next tar archive entry. Whenever that entry is not null, we'll print out its name, and then we will recur. So we will jump back up to the top of this loop, and we will replace the entry that it started with the next one that comes out of the stream. And when we get to the point where we get a null entry back, this whole batch won't evaluate, so that'll be at the end of the loop and it's done. So we can see there are the names in that tar archive entry, and unfortunately there's not easy. I'm done playing with the API at this point. There's not an easy way to just say, just give me the file name so I can match against that. But I found out enough to know that I'm just going to need to go and split on directory separators and stuff. So anyway, this was probably stupidly long, and I did it just as an experiment, but this is Clojure. It's kind of neat. I can work directly with Java stuff, and I can do it interactively. I don't have to write and compile and test and write and compile and test. I can just try things out as I go. So I can, and now that I have this working, there's the desktop. I think I have one in here. Do I? Yeah. So I can just, this is the original reported error one, and I can see that, or I can grab any of these. Tar names. Oops. Yeah, this one's big, but yeah, fun stuff.